Paris, December 2008. The city of lights glowed brighter than ever under the shimmer of Christmas. Along the Avenue Montaigne, luxury was not hidden, it was flaunted. Designer storefronts blazed with holiday displays. Chauffeurs stood by limousines, and the air was thick with the scent of wealth. This was the Paris of privilege. A world of velvet gloves, Cartier jewels, and champagne lunches. But in the heart of this boulevard of power stood one boutique that outshined them all. Harry Winston, the King of Diamonds. Inside its marble halls and glittering showcases lay some of the rarest jewels in the world. Blood-red rubies, emeralds like bottled forests, and diamonds that looked like shards of frozen light. Hollywood stars wore them on red carpets. Royalty commissioned them. Collectors guarded them. For Harry Winston, the stones weren't just gems, they were immortality. But diamonds don't only draw the gaze of the rich. They attract hunters. For weeks, men walked into the boutique dressed as women, in wigs, makeup, and coats of fur. They sipped champagne, inspected jewels, whispered in falsetto. To staff, they looked like eccentric aristocrats. To each other, they were professionals rehearsing a masterpiece. On December 4, 2008, as Christmas lights sparkled outside, 4 of those men would step back into Harry Winston. They would play their roles one final time. And within 20 minutes, they would walk out with $100 million in diamonds. The largest jewel theft in Parisian history. It was a robbery so audacious, so theatrical, that the French press gave it a name that still endures. Le Casse du siècle, the heist of the century. Avenue Montaigne was not just a street, it was a declaration. Every inch of it screamed luxury. Dior's sleek black storefronts, Chanel's minimalist glass, Vuitton's glowing displays, all lined the boulevard like jewels in a crown. By 2008, the global financial crisis was beginning to shake markets, but here, wealth still glittered as if untouchable. At the very center of this crown sat Harry Winston. Its boutique stood proud and intimidating, guarded by security. Watched by cameras, wrapped in marble and gold. Inside, cases sparkled with stones worth millions. Celebrities stopped here before premieres. Oligarchs bought gifts for mistresses. Royals browsed with guards in tow. To the world, it was a palace. To the thieves, it was a puzzle. For weeks, they walked among the rich, disguised in wigs and makeup. Some days, they appeared as elegant women in fur coats. Other times, flamboyant aristocrats dripping in costume jewelry. They moved slowly, sipping champagne, asking questions, practicing voices in falsetto tones. The staff smiled politely, accustomed to eccentricity. They never suspected they were watching rehearsals. By the time December arrived, the thieves knew the boutique's rhythms. How often guards rotated, which cameras had blind spots, which cases held the rarest stones. They weren't improvising. They were writing a script. And Avenue Montaigne would be their stage. On December 4, 2008, just before 6 p.m., the thieves made their move. The boutique was still open, glowing warmly against the winter night. Shoppers admired glittering necklaces under chandeliers. Outside, Paris bustled with holiday cheer, couples carrying shopping bags, cars honking in traffic, the Eiffel Tower glowing faintly in the distance. 4 figures approached Harry Winston. To passers-by, they looked like wealthy women out for Christmas shopping. Fur coats draped across their shoulders. Wigs framed their faces. Lipstick gleamed under the lights. They spoke in soft voices, heels clicking against the sidewalk. The guards, seeing nothing unusual, opened the door. The thieves glided in, blending seamlessly into the boutique's elegance. Then the performance snapped. The wigs came off. Lipstick smeared. Voices dropped into sharp, commanding tones. Weapons appeared from beneath coats, pistols and sawn-off shotguns gleaming under the chandeliers. The boutique, moments ago serene, was now frozen in terror. The command was shouted in French. "À terre! Tout le monde à terre!" Everyone down. Panic rippled through the boutique. Staff and clients screamed, ducking to the marble floor. One robber waved his weapon across the room, eyes sharp. Another kept hostages corralled in a corner, voice calm but cold. It wasn't random. It wasn't wild. It was rehearsed. Every movement precise, every second calculated. The thieves called staff by name. Marie, open that case. Jean, don't move. The hostages froze in horror. How did these men know them? How long had they been watching? Meanwhile, the glass began to break. The butt of a gun smashed against a display, and diamonds scattered like raindrops across velvet. Necklaces slid into black duffel bags. Emeralds, rubies, sapphires, all vanished into gloved hands. No bullets were fired. No one was harmed. But the terror was absolute. In less than 15 minutes, the boutique was stripped. The robbers didn't waste time on every case. They went straight for the masterpieces. A necklace worth millions. Earrings fit for royalty. Rare diamonds with histories stretching back centuries. They filled bag after bag, the value climbing with every scoop. By the end, they had taken nearly $100 million in jewels, the largest haul in French history. The boutique, once a palace of light, now looked gutted. Glass shards crunched under boots. Empty velvet trays sat under chandeliers, robbed of their stars. The thieves paused only once. One allegedly looked back at the terrified hostages and smirked before leaving. For Paris, it was unthinkable. For the thieves, it was victory. At 5:50 p.m., the robbers did something almost absurd. They didn't run. They walked out. Calm. Composed. Heavy duffel bags slung over their shoulders, disguises back in place. To anyone outside, they looked like eccentric socialites leaving with shopping bags. No gunfire. No sprint into the night. They slipped into the Paris streets just as police were being called. By the time the first patrol cars arrived, the thieves had melted away into the city. Some witnesses swore they saw a dark sedan idling blocks away. Others claimed motorcycles sped off minutes later. A few believed the robbers simply disappeared into the Christmas crowds. All anyone knew for sure, they were gone. The aftermath was chaos. French newspapers screamed headlines. $100 million stolen in Paris diamond heist. Television showed shocked boutique staff, police swarming Avenue Montaigne, and broken glass still scattered on marble floors. Interpol was called in. Harry Winston offered massive rewards. The public demanded answers. Rumors spiraled. Some claimed it was the work of the Pink Panthers, the notorious Balkan jewel thieves. Others suspected Corsican gangs. Some whispered of an inside job. How else could the thieves know the staff by name? Months passed. Investigators tracked suspects to Serbia, Montenegro, and Paris's own underworld. Eventually, some arrests were made. But the diamonds? They had vanished. Not one of the largest stones was ever recovered. The crime had already entered legend. Today, the Harry Winston heist is remembered as more than a robbery. It was a performance. Theatrics. Precision. Disguise. No blood spilled, no alarms triggered, no heroes made. Just wealth stripped from a fortress of glamour in less than 20 minutes. Some suspects sit in prison. Others vanished into the shadows. But the jewels, the very heart of the crime, remain ghosts. Experts believe they were recut, smuggled, and sold quietly, scattered across the globe. Somewhere, someone wears a ring or necklace that once lay under the chandeliers of Harry Winston Paris. But the heist itself lives on in memory. Documentaries. Police training manuals. True crime podcasts. It is taught not as chaos, but as choreography. The heist of the century wasn't about brute force. It was about illusion. Men disguised as women, walking into one of the world's most secure boutiques, and leaving with a fortune. The Carlton in Cannes was remembered for its elegance. But the Harry Winston heist? for its audacity. The Harry Winston heist endures because it was not only a robbery, but a performance. It showed the world that the most glamorous fortress in Paris could be breached without a single bullet fired. It mocked the idea of safety, even under chandeliers and cameras. For the victims, it was devastation. For the thieves, it was history. For Paris, it was humiliation. And for the world of true crime, it was legend. The diamonds themselves? Still missing. Perhaps recut, hidden, or glittering quietly on hands that will never admit their origin. The jewels live on, ghosts scattered across the globe. Harry Winston rebuilt. Its name survived. Its boutiques still shine. But in Paris, the night of December 4th, 2008 will forever remain a scar. The City of Lights was dimmed, not by bombs or blood, but by shadows in wigs and lipstick. Shadows that proved that even the most dazzling fortress can be stripped bare in less than 20 minutes. And that is why, 15 years later, the Harry Winston diamond heist still haunts Avenue Montaigne. Not as a crime of greed, but as a masterpiece of disguise and deception.